Hey there UKDCers, today I have the full sort of analysis of these three keychain tools that were sent along to me for free for review by SOG. Thank you very much, Studies and Observations Group. Three items here, so I'm going to deal with them, I'll deal with them from my least favourite to my favourite, so we'll just quickly go over them. You know, it's 3-part review, so we'll try and keep this not to a crazy length. So just because of the simplicity and sort of limited use case scenario, my least favourite is the SOG Centi one. That by no means it's bad, it's just, I mean, come on, there's no way this is as interesting as those two. So we'll just start with this one. This is a very small keychain blade that's used, intended to be used for light tasks, things like that. It's not intended as a replacement for your main blade, or even really as a backup to that. It's meant as a, I don't want to get my big knife out, or, you know, here's just a little thing. Or even I have used this for something needed cutting off of a plastic thing, and my main knives were too thick. If you look at that, plus I didn't want to risk damaging the edge, but yeah, you can see it's a fair old thick boy. This, look at how thin that stock is, and this happily just went through it. So this is 3CR13 steel, that's 50 to 52 Rockwell hardness, which isn't that impressive. So we'll see how sharp it is. I haven't used it that much. I have used it a bit. Obviously I wanted to test it out, but there's that. With a blade length of 1.4 inches and an entire length of 3.4, it is made in China, as I think all of these are, because the price of this is $13.95, which is just fantastic for a little backup blade that's, you know, that sharp. I would liken this to an X-Acto knife on your keychain. You know, that's the kind of sharpness we're talking about here. It is almost razor, or at least it was when I got it. We'll see how that is, and then I'll try and strop it back and see how easy it is to bring back. So I guess let's get that out of the way, and then I'll talk while I'm stropping. So there's that. It's still fairly sharp. I'm not going to lie, it's nowhere near as sharp as when it came, but look, you can see it's, yeah, it's got a couple of hiccups in there, but that's still completely usable. So using this, I used this as a, you know, just as a backup blade, although I'll be honest, I did abuse it a little bit. I used it far beyond what you're supposed to. So I started off with some string, and the string worked quite well. Then paper, again, just boring, easily went through it. So then we started with cardboard. Now, the size of it starts to get a little bit uncomfortable in the hand when you're starting to push through cardboard, because it only takes up that much room in your hand. Now, if you're using it like that, which I was for like paper and stuff, it's fine. And if you're opening boxes, like just cutting through packaging like that, is fine. But if you're trying to go through like thick cardboard like this, it's just really far from ideal, and they don't claim it to be anywhere near for that. I mean, it even says on the back, if you read, there you go, the back of that, it tells you it's ready for quick everyday tasks, not, you know, breaking down 1,000 boxes or something stupid like that. So it's not like they're selling it as that. And I think what the intended use case scenario is, it's pretty perfect. Here we go. Look at that, just a little strop. Out. This sort of, when I went through ultra thick cardboard, that's when I was a bit, yeah, maybe I won't be using that. But for £13.95, I think this is fine. Especially if you're looking for something that's got like an X-Acto style blade on it, you know, like a little Stanley knife. This is very, very sharp, so if you're quite often in the need for something, you know, small and super sharp, like a razor, without actually carrying a razor like a psycho or anything, that's fine. Next we have this, the SOG, Studies and Observation Group's MACV tool, which is here. Again, made in China. You get all of those tools on it. It's the same steel as that blade was made out of, so there you go. You get yourself a little lanyard hole at the top, which I've put this sort of black chain through. Although, you know, it would be cool if you put like an actual lanyard through. I think Nice Slicers makes some nice ones for this. So there we go. It's in the shape of their mascot, and you get all those tools on it. I've only used a couple of the tools, so the tools that I have actually used are this bottle opener, which works lovely, as you might imagine. I have used this pry bar. This doubles as a nail puller. I haven't tried pulling a nail with it, although I imagine it'll be fine. I have used it as a pry bar though, and it's a little small. It certainly did the job, but you know, it's definitely a backup pry bar. I mean, if such a thing exists. But that said, it did work. I was certainly happy to have it rather than not. And the other thing I used was one of these to undo a thing on a bicycle, and it didn't fit perfectly because the thing I was undoing was in metric and these are in inches at Imperial, so it was a loose fit, to say the least, but it did do the job. You know, had they been in metric, I think I would have loved it even more, but American company, so Imperial it is. This thing here, it's a bit lackluster. I used it for opening a box, which was fine. Cutting string, it's alright at. Beyond that, it just, I think it's gone blunt already. You know, I don't think that's the best part. I think that's probably, out of everything on here, the part that would probably wear out the quickest. And I mean, I suppose I could sharpen it with these rods. I have this, which has these rods on it here, and I do suppose I could just get one of these rods and, but yeah, it does, because it's that same 3CR13, it does seem to dull quite quickly. So, you know, I was only opening sellotape and stuff with it, but it gunks up quite easily, and there you go. So, not a fan of that. The other thing on this that I'm not a fan of is this. Now, I haven't tried it. I'm going to try it on camera, but it's not SOG's fault. It's the fact that it's a pull-through sharpener. I have plenty of experience with pull-through sharpeners, as this sharpener's been with me for years, and I spent years using this one. They're not good. They are awful. It doesn't matter what quality pull-through sharpener you get, they will do the job, but the edge, the finish will just be terrible. As such, here is the backlock version of the Keytron, not the UK legal one. You know, you can see because the bottle opener sort of clicks down. I'm going to take this horribly coarse, extra coarse diamond stone, and we're going to see, there we go, and just to prove how hopelessly blunt that is, no, and you can see it's literally just tearing through that. It's not even cutting it, it's just ripping it. So we're now going to, I'll probably have to speed this bit up, but we're going to try using that. Okay, it doesn't feel like what I'd call ultra sharp, but it doesn't feel as bad, so... Oh no. I mean, it's definitely sharper, but... Yeah, I mean... Certainly, I mean, look, you can see it's not tearing it, so I mean, I guess if you were out for a while, it might... But my opinion on pull-throughs hasn't changed, obviously. So for $13.95, it's really not bad. I mean, the sharpener here, I'd maybe use only on like secondary or keychain knives only. Certainly wouldn't use it on a main blade, but in a pinch it might be useful. The rest of it seems pretty dandy, to be honest. I mean, I quite like the design of it. It's very lightweight. It's yeah, certainly unique. You have jimping on the side here to help if you're, you know, using the end as a screwdriver or something, or trying to lift. Obviously, the bottle opener works lovely. But yeah, I do really like it. It's quite limited, but this, on the other hand, SOG Keytron, and that is this one. This is the UK legal version, which will say Universal Knife Law compliant if you get the UK legal one. Be careful, because there is another version which isn't UK legal. I think the only place you can get this from is Heine Haynes, so if you want one, that's where you're going, I guess. But you can see you've got a slip joint locking mechanism. This is in just stainless steel. This is a slip joint, as you can see. No manipulation of this needed. In fact, you can't even move this. This is just in place, solid. You do get this really handy little clip that just clips onto this, and there you go. That just closes on your keys, or acts as like a little thing if you want to do that with it and fidget. This has been by far the most useful out of the three, just because one night in the amount of time I've been reviewing these, I just forgot to pack a knife because I was in a hurry, I guess, and we all know what that feels like. It's horrible. It's man, I haven't got, you know, you almost feel naked. But then I remembered I had this, and this is just big enough to be, you know, I'd never take this by choice as a primary, but, you know, by golly, it's almost big enough to be one. You get your nice slip joint action there. It's good enough in the hand. You can even lock it in place with your finger, although I wouldn't really recommend that, but it does make it really secure. You know, it's not going anywhere. Got a lovely hollow grind on that blade. Let's see how sharp it still is, keeping in mind, really not sure on that steel. I think it's, do you know what, let's have a look. Let's see if I can find out what that steel is in real time. The Keytron is 5CR15 MOV, according to Heine's website, so slightly better than that. Yeah. Hey, I gotta say, I wasn't expecting it to be that good. Like I said, this did get a proper day's use out of this, and do you know what? It really wasn't bad using it as a secondary. You know, like so the thing this is competing with for me is this little guy, and I like this because it's got a bunch of tools on it. It's got like this, bunch of tools. What am I talking about? It's got a bunch of tools on it. You know, things like these scissors, which you can see I've used because it's got a bit of sellotape on them. However, I've always found the knife on this just bleh, and holding this is just, it's not bad, but it's, you know, it stops like there, and you know, you can't really, there's no spring tension on this, it just folds. So this is sort of more equivalent to this in sort of use case scenario for the blade. This one, this is definitely like sort of more equivalent to like this in use case scenario for the blade. You know, it's still, you know, quite a bit smaller, but not crazy smaller. You know what I mean? It's small enough to fit on a keychain, but still big enough to get some pretty serious work done if you need it. Very much a fan of this. If you're only going to buy one thing out of all these three for your keychain, I'd highly recommend this. If you only want something small, I would recommend getting this. You know, it's quite inconspicuous, quite small, and very, very sharp. And I'd recommend this anyway, just because, you know, it's a good backup for everything. You know, and it's always good to have a pry bar and stuff. And it's only 14 as well. But this is definitely the clear winner. These two are absolutely staying on my keychain. This one, I just don't see the point in having two on the keychain. This one will be probably put on a separate set of keys that I have for me garage. But these two here are definitely going straight back on the keychain. This just because I I quite like it, and I just like having extra tools on my keychain that I know are just there, and if I ever need them, they're just in my pocket, and you know, I can just reach for them. And this is such a star player, this one. If there's one thing I'm going to criticise on this, it's that it can just close on your fingers. There is nothing to stop. It's got a sharpening choil, but it doesn't have a finger choil. So when you're holding this, if this does go, that blade is going into you. So that would be the one thing I criticise about this. But as a backup knife that fits on your keychain, that's not something I'd be worried about anyway, because I wouldn't be thinking about using it that much. But yeah, there we go. Thank you very much for watching, and cheers for sending these along, SOG.